Hey there, friends. Before we dive in, I'd just like to say, if you want to keep exploring history with us, don't forget to follow the channel so you won't miss this or any of our future adventures. And your support means a lot. So please subscribe, like, and drop a comment below. It really helps us out. Ramesses II, the great pharaoh who defied time. Was Ramesses II really the greatest pharaoh in history, or just a legend carved from stone and dreams? Well, join us on an exciting journey through the corridors of history, where the sands whisper stories of kings who dared the impossible and civilizations that built glory out of rock. At the heart of this ancient world, one name rises above all others, Ramesses II, the pharaoh who wasn't just a ruler, but a man who carved his power into eternity. With mighty armies at his side, he built monuments that defied storms and floods like the grand temples of Abu Simbel. But was he truly Egypt's greatest king, or just a myth shaped by stone and imagination? In this journey, we'll dive deep into his life, explore his legendary battles, uncover the challenges behind his triumphs, and reveal a man who wasn't just a monarch, but a symbol of power, beauty, and immortality. Ramesses II was born around 1303 BC, the son of Pharaoh Seti I, a warrior king who restored Egypt's strength, and Queen Tuya, a wise woman who nurtured his ambition. From childhood, Ramesses wasn't treated like an ordinary boy. By the age of 10, he was already named an honorary commander, riding in chariots and fighting alongside Egypt's armies against Libyan and Nubian tribes. He mastered the spear, the chariot, and even the art of diplomacy. He learned to write hieroglyphs, studied statecraft, and was trained to rule a vast empire stretching from Nubia in the south to Syria in the north. When Seti I died in 1290 BC, Ramesses took the throne. His reign would last more than 6 decades, one of the longest in history. Early in his rule, he faced one of the greatest military challenges of the ancient world, the Battle of Kadesh against the mighty Hittite Empire. The battle, fought around 1274 BC, was over control of the city of Kadesh in modern-day Syria, a key point on the trade routes between east and west. Ramesses marched with an army of 20,000, divided into 4 divisions. But the Hittites set a trap. Using spies and false information, they lured Ramesses into an ambush. His army was scattered, and he was surrounded with only his Amun division left. At that desperate moment, Ramesses showed extraordinary courage. Instead of retreating, he mounted his chariot and charged straight into the enemy lines, rallying his men. Reinforcements finally arrived, and the Egyptians managed to push the Hittites back across the river. Though the battle was essentially a stalemate, Ramesses turned it into a propaganda victory. He covered the walls of his temples with carvings, showing himself as the hero who crushed his enemies. Beyond war, Ramesses was also a great builder. He raised temples and statues across Egypt, the most famous being the colossal Abu Simbel temples carved into a mountainside in Nubia. 4 massive statues of Ramesses, each about 20 meters high, guard the entrance, designed so that twice a year sunlight would illuminate the inner sanctuary. This incredible feat of astronomy and engineering symbolized his connection with the gods. He also built the Ramesseum, his mortuary temple in Thebes, which is modern Luxor, and it served not just as a temple but also as an administrative and cultural centre. Even centuries later, it inspired the English poet Percy Shelley's famous poem Ozymandias about the fall of great kings. Ramesses founded a new capital, Pi-Ramesses, in the Nile Delta, a grand city of palaces, temples and military power. It became one of the largest and most vibrant cities of the ancient world. His building projects stretched across Egypt and Nubia, with temples like Beit el-Wali, Gerf Hussein and others that celebrated his victories and honoured the gods. But Ramesses wasn't just a warrior and builder, he was also a family man. He married several wives, the most famous being Queen Nefertari, whose tomb is one of the most beautiful ever discovered. Together, they symbolized love and partnership, immortalized in temples and inscriptions. He's said to have fathered over 100 children, making his dynasty one of the most powerful and enduring in Egyptian history. Ramesses II's reign was a true golden age, a time of wealth, military might, and breathtaking monuments. Whether he was truly the greatest pharaoh or simply the most celebrated, His legacy has outlived empires, standing as a testament to a man who tried, and perhaps succeeded, to defy time itself. Beautifully painted wall scenes show Nefertari playing games like Senate, an ancient version of chess, and making offerings to Osiris, who welcomes her into the afterlife with colours so vivid they still look fresh today. These details reflect Ramesses' deep love for her, lasting even beyond her death. During his reign, poems were written in her honour, comparing her to the rising sun and describing her as the joy of his soul. Even after she passed away, Ramesses kept her memory alive through inscriptions, making her one of the most beloved queens in Egyptian history, rivaling Cleopatra in cultural influence and Hatshepsut in power. After Nefertari's death, Ramesses married Isetnofret, who gave him sons like Kheemwaset and Meremptah. He also sealed political alliances through marriages, even marrying Hittite princesses, and like many pharaohs, married within his family to keep royal bloodlines strong. But Nefertari remained the most cherished figure of his life. Ramesses II. What a life he led! He lived an extraordinarily long life for his time. He passed away around 1213 BC, nearly 90 years old, when most folks barely lived past 35. Despite suffering from arthritis, dental problems and back pain, he remained active and commanding until his final years. He was laid to rest in KV7, his grand tomb in the Valley of the Kings, adorned with scenes of his journey to the afterlife with Osiris and Isis. But, like many royal tombs, his resting place was plundered in later centuries. Priests secretly moved his mummy around 1070 BC to protect it, hiding it in the Deir el-Bahari cache. It was finally rediscovered in 1881 and placed in the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization. Examinations of his mummy left scientists amazed. Ramesses stood about 1.7 meters tall, a commanding height for his era. His hair was naturally light, perhaps due to genetics or ancient dye. Even after 3,000 years, his features still carried the majesty of a king who lived in glory. Meanwhile, deep in the Nile, modern archaeologists uncovered new surprises, including a massive, finely carved statue that seemed to rise from the sands, telling stories of Egypt's golden age. Even more shocking was the discovery of a tightly sealed stone sarcophagus, surrounded by warnings of a curse on anyone who dared disturb it. When scientists carefully lifted and opened it, they found a remarkably preserved mummy, wrapped in rich linens, with jeweled eyes and mysterious manuscripts filled with secret rituals, perhaps linked to Ramesses or one of his descendants. This reminded the world of another legendary find, Howard Carter's discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922. Funded by Lord Carnarvon, Carter broke through a sealed doorway, untouched for millennia. When he peered inside and was asked if he saw anything, his reply became immortal. Yes, wonderful things. The tomb was filled with golden treasures, chariots and priceless artifacts. But shortly after, Lord Carnarvon died from an unexplained infection, fueling the legend of the Pharaoh's curse. Several others who entered the tomb later suffered strange illnesses, adding to the mystery. Today, many scientists believe the curse may have been caused by toxic bacteria sealed in the tomb for centuries. But the legend remains. In the end, while Tutankhamun is famous for the treasures found in his tomb, Ramesses II is remembered for something far greater: his wars, his monuments, his temples, and his eternal presence in history. Tutankhamun's glory lay in what was hidden with him. Ramesses' glory was carved in stone, standing tall for the world to see. Finally, at the end of this journey, we want to thank you for listening. We encourage you to follow the channel and watch future videos. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment. Your